Everybody, Scott from Laura's Hypnotherapy again, and thank you again for being a part of this course. Video 2 of how to cure super addicted clients if all they want to do is be resistant, have tantrums, fight you through the process, and how to fix those. And so in order to get through this particular part of the board, I'm just going to move out of the way so you guys can get a look at this, but I'm going to talk you through every part of it. There's the CARE acronym. And what this is about is first the C stands for the C for childish behaviour. So the actual behaviour that they have that pops up. So over the next 3 weeks, what we're doing is covering the 9 childish behaviours, then the stories and frameworks to fix it. And so the first 3 we're covering today is the verbal abuse, the substances, as in the alcohol, cigarettes, ice, cocaine, and then others, as in just even behaviours that aren't even substances. And then the partner objection, when my partner says that the money, the time, the effect on the mood, the effect on the family, and even the therapist themselves, which is you, are not correct to actually help them. So that's like the childish behaviour. They're doing those things. The agree is where that you need to win them over first. You need to basically, in the agree frame, is to do things that gets them on your side before you start helping them. Because if you just start going, you know what, you're wrong, I'm right, that's not how you're going to win friends. That's not in this course how we're doing things. We're basically going, get on their side. Don't even cure them first. Just get on their side. Then get them to be on your side, and then cure them. Because your steps work if they can do these 2 things. They have to be able to basically trust you, and they have to be able to cooperate with you. So the agree frame, and we're going to be going through those. The lesson is that this is what you tell them. This is what you're actually doing. So that the lessons basically, it's like the story, or it's the hero's journey, or it's a narrative that you give, where you get to disassociate from the person themselves. Instead of saying, you are the bad guy, you basically go, let me tell you about somebody else who's been through what you've been through, and they learned these lessons, and that's the lesson, and they came through the other side, and here's how they did it. And then finally, you're going to stand here. So the moral of the story is when you sum up what the lesson was, and you tell them in this column, this is now what I want you to do, this is what I want you to believe. Will you do these 2 things? Trust me and cooperate with me. So again, like today's, in week 1, the 3 childish behaviours that we're going through is the first one, verbal or physical abuse. So the rule when it comes to physical abuse, you can see how we've got these X's here. So unlike in the other boxes, unlike the rest of all of this, where we have actual models of what to do, of how to work with that client, how to build a relationship with that client, how to get that client to kind of agree with you to do those 2 things, to basically to trust you and to cooperate with you. If it comes to physical abuse and even verbal abuse, that is program over, that is relationship over, that is physical abuse, call the police. Verbal abuse, kick them out. Because there are more therapists out there, and that person needs to learn that they can't ever physically abuse you and expect to get anything else. So that's why we've got X's here. Physical, call police. Verbal, kick them out. If they become physical, call police. Game over there, if that makes sense. Do not ever work with, again, anybody who is physically abusive. If they're verbally abusive, again, there's 7.4 billion people on the planet. There's enough people on the planet, you can get more clients. We teach marketing, by the way, so ask us about that if that's something that you need. So that will help you to get more clients. You don't have to put up one with a client like that. So the agree, the lesson, and the moral do not apply. It's just call police, kick them out, call police. Next. The next childish behaviour that we're walking through is basically the alcohol, cigarettes, ice, and cocaine themselves when they say that they're not ready to quit. They're not ready. It's the wrong time. It's like, you know what, like it's the time in my life at the moment, I'm kind of relying on it. And so this is the agreement frame. This is how you get in the head. The agree is when you go through our other, the benefits, the A, B, C, D of why they're doing it. These things, alcohol, cigarettes, ice, cocaine, and other addictive behaviours. Why are they doing it? The only 4 reasons that people are doing it, besides an actual physical withdrawal themselves, which basically doesn't really apply to cigarettes for almost everybody, it's fairly rare that it's like whether it's a heart palpitation or something where a doctor has actually told them that they need to not shock their system, which is really rare. Cigarettes don't help. The other drugs don't help. They basically need to quit. These are the 4 benefits to the drug. The achievement. They're using the drug as a performance enhancer. It could be the alcohol, performance enhancer. I'll have a drink and then I'll get through whatever it is I need to get through. The achievement of the cigarette's going to be a performance enhancer. If I smoke this thing, it's going to give me the mindset, the morning meeting with myself where I can think, what was I going to do today? I'll have a cigarette and that'll help me achieve. The achievement of ice, generally I don't really see ice helping people achieve much, but people tend to use it sort of, again, as a performance enhancer to get through things. If I have the ice, I can get through the day so I can get back to bed. People are still using it for that. Cocaine is, especially performance enhancer, it's not a good one, but you have to have the agreement model when you go, no, I don't agree with behavior. I agree that I understand why you were using it. The next one is the breaks. People are using alcohol, cigarettes, ice, cocaine, and other behaviors, all addictive behaviors. And the definition of addictive behavior, it gives them an instant benefit, just like on the other side of the screen where it was like the benefit of the addiction was a positive thing. But the downside of the addiction is that it destroys them in multiple ways. They have to pay that back. So when it comes to the breaks, the alcohol, like I've had a great week, now I want to just have some time with myself. It's an excuse to have a break. Cigarettes, especially a break, it's like the only time I ever get away from the kids, away from work. I don't even get a break unless I have a smoke break, or I don't have a break unless I'm actually, so whether it's having the cigarettes, if I don't smoke, I'm not allowed out of the office. Or that the kids, they follow me into the bathroom, they follow me into the bedroom. But if I go outside with a cigarette, the kids leave me alone. You're like, oh, your kids are like 3 and 5. How come that they understand that cigarettes are dangerous? Or why do they leave you alone when it comes to cigarettes, but they don't leave you alone when it comes to like you go into the bedroom to say, I'm just going to have 5 minutes to take a break, just to have a break and clean my head. They'll be like, well, the reason that, the kids leave me alone, they know it's dangerous. I'm like, did they go on Google? No, they didn't go on Google to find out that cigarettes are dangerous and that's why they're leaving the parent alone for 5 minutes. It's the tone of body language, because if you've got, with tone of body language, if you've got that cigarette and the kids come near you, you yell at them. You're like, go back inside, I'm smoking. And they're like, yeah, but I want my drink. No, go back inside, go back inside, go back inside. And that's kind of like, in a way, how you speak to the child when there's the cigarette. Because it's like you're wrestling a lion to protect their lives. Because you're protecting their lives with this cigarette, but you're going, get back, get away, this thing's dangerous. Your tone and body language. But you go into the bedroom, you go into the bathroom, you go somewhere else, and the kids follow you in, and you don't have that same tone and the body language. You kind of double face palm and you're like, yeah, you kids are so annoying, you kids are so frustrating. And the kids are like, yep, ha ha ha, that's us. So that's where the breaks are. They need an alternative break. And as we go through the rest of this acronym, it'll make sense as to how they can get those breaks. So the same as like ice and cocaine, breaks. Connect. Social. Part of the tribe. Do you resonate and are you safe in the tribe? Well, yeah, if you have these drugs, then then they're included in the tribe. It's like that they want to connect. Have alcohol at the party. It's a benefit that you have to have the agreement frame where you understand why they're having it. The cigarettes, it's like, well, I connect. Do you have a lighter? It's like, do you want to go outside for a smoke? We're inside. It's summer. It's beautiful weather. Or it's just I want to get outside just to enjoy the weather. Connect. Let's go outside for a smoke. Let's have a chat out there. It's more relaxed and we can connect a little bit better. If that makes sense. So the agreement frame again. The ice and cocaine. Again, like there are groups that connect. That's their tribe. That's what's normal for them, even if it's not normal for you. That you've got to understand that as your client, it may not be normal for you, but it's normal for them. That's how they connect. Perhaps not how you, or we hope not how you connect. Discovery. This is about mixing it up. Like if you know the Anthony Robbins 6 core needs, it's about making it different. It's basically about making your life not so monotonous that you're always having to achieve. But the discovery is that you're getting to have something different, you get to mix it up, you get uncertainty, you get variety as part of the day. Alcohol. Well, I've had such a sober week. Where's the alcohol? Where's the cigarette? I've had the cigarettes. I've had a great week. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to have a reward for myself with a cigarette. End of day. So it's the discovery and the break together. So hopefully that makes sense as to how you can do like an almost virtual or figurative mind read of your client to go, the childish behaviour, but I understand why, what the benefit is that you're getting out of it. Just like with the other side of the board where you talked about the benefit of the addiction. There's the benefit of the addiction. But you can't stay there just because you agree that you understand why they were having it. That's no reason to stay there because you still remember, like we were saying, what this course is about. It's about getting their trust and getting them to cooperate with you. They're now kind of trusting you because they're like going, yeah, you know what I'm going through. You know what it's doing for me. The next one. So I'm going to stay on this side, the downside. So remember, like not ready. So not ready benefits. I'm not ready to not have any more achievement. I'm not ready. I can't give up my achievement. With not ready, I can't have that I don't get through my day. With not ready, I'm not ready to give up all of my breaks. How am I going to have a break ever again? I'm not ready. I'm not ready to stop connecting with people because all of my friends take the drugs, all of my friends have the alcohol, all of my friends are just like that. I'm not ready to give up my discovery. What else am I going to do for fun? I work hard, I deserve a treat. I'm not ready. So this is how you go, not ready, not ready, not ready. What's ready? So this is like where you go, the downside is that they're never going to be ready. Here's now, they're not ready. 6 months ago in the past, they weren't ready. 6 months in the future, they're not going to be ready. 10 years in the future, they're not going to be ready. So with the downside of the addiction, are you going to just stay not ready? Or are you going to take the first step? Are you going to trust me and you're going to cooperate? You're here for a reason, right? So you're going to trust me and you're going to cooperate. So this is how to solve the tantrum. We're breaking down the myth step by step. So finally, the moral of the story, this is where you sum it up. You basically say, the correct behavior, you have to start now. It's the first half that you need to honor. You can tell a story about like someone who's been through it. I've been through these things. I smoked for 8 years. 8 years ago. I smoked for a decade, and I wasn't ready to quit. But I started, and then I had to get through. That was my story. Your story starts now. It won't magically get easier later. Again, you're not going to be ready. We live in not ready times. You're not ready. They're not ready. We live in bad times. You need to make times good. We don't live in good or bad times. We live in times. Good and bad things happen all the time. So they're never going to be ready. So that's why the moral of the story, get them to agree, if that makes sense. The final one for today, for this week, and remember to join us next week because we've got so much more coming. Partner. The partner, I went home, like I said to you, I went home and I talked to my partner and they've agreed that there's an excuse. It's not worth the money to come and see you to get off the addiction. It's not worth the time, the drive, the effort to get off the addiction. The effect on their mood is like he or she's trying to quit. And they're just a mess, they're a monster. They're becoming the Incredible Hulk, Jekyll and Hyde. It's like they suddenly turn into ripping off their shirt and smashing stuff all around the house. The mood is horrible. They can't quit. The effect on the family is tearing the family apart. They're mean to the kids, they're mean to everybody, they're not as resonant, they're not as kind of doing their duties, they're not stepping up to their stations as they're supposed to be doing. Or the therapist, and that's you, they're insulting you, going, you don't know what you're doing, you can't help me, I've seen everybody else, why would you be any different? Even like halfway through your program, starting to insult you and saying to my partner, I told them these things about you, or that these things about me, and they've agreed with me. I'm going to skip a little ahead to kind of give away the end of the story. They're always biased. This is the thing, the partner's always biased. We'll get there again. But this is where, if you have a frame, this is basically, it's a nice, beautiful star. Don't read into it to mean anything other than it's a nice, beautiful diagram. These are the 5 M's. The partner objection 5 M's. They'll talk about mood, mentor, therapist, that's you. The money, what it costs, which that argument is so easy to flip. The moment, it's not the right moment, which is, we just covered that in not ready. And then the marriage, it's like the drug is the glue of the marriage, or that if they try to quit, their mood becomes so bad that now that they are just going to be physically, mentally unable to perform, and they become a monster. So that if you can show them through a diagram, I've heard these 5 things. I've heard people say that their mood is just going to fall apart if they don't have these addictions. Well, it's kind of provable that there's only 2 things that actually make a person calm down. Only 2 things. These aren't them. They're not permanent. Quick fix, it's a quick benefit, but only 2 things permanently help people to calm down over time. It's to do with building brain pathways. The 2 rules. One thing to do in order to become calm is that time has to pass. If time hasn't passed, they can't become calm. And that's an important rule to know. The other one is during that time that is passing, they need to be not trying to win anything. Not trying to improve their money, not trying to improve their health, not trying to improve their relationship, not trying to improve their future plans in any way. Stop. That's the only thing for up to 20 minutes. It takes time for those hormones to flush. Thoughts change quick. Thought pathways change slower. Emotions change slowly. It takes at least 90 seconds. The only thing that changes mood, imagine if on the packet of cigarettes or alcohol, whatever it is, it says proven and allowed to be sold by the government, proven to cure all the bad moods, anxiety, depression, and everything else. It's no good. So when you explain this to them, you say, I'm just a mentor. I help. These tools work. I have case studies. I have proof. The money, you get the money back by basically what you save in the addictions. The moment is like, again, we just covered, not ready, not ready. It won't magically get easier later. And the marriages aren't improved by drugs. Yeah, it seems like a quick fix. They're yelling at each other, they have a quick cigarette, and they stop trying to sort of argue at each other so much. But marriages, they're not improved by drugs. That's just a band-aid. If it's going to fall apart, it's going to fall apart, if that makes sense. They're improved by first being with the right person and then treat them the right way. Treat them like you did at the start of the relationship, it won't end, like what Anthony Robbins says. Now, this is the lesson. So this is the A, the B, the C of basically the lesson. The addiction itself, that's the bad thing. The benefit is what that we're getting from the addiction, and the correct behaviour is what they need to start doing. In the middle, because this is the Venn diagram, if you've done high school maths and you've seen Venn diagrams, this one, they don't overlap in the middle, because correct behaviour and addiction and benefits, they don't all overlap. Because if they're doing the correct behaviour, there should be no addiction. But when they're doing the correct behaviour and addiction together, they're not doing it together, they're doing it one after the other. So that's when they beat themselves up. So what happens is they have the addiction, they're like, I have a cigarette, and then I think about my health, how the doctor said emphysema, cancer and things, so I start beating myself up. That's the beat up. The cigarette lecture, beat up. If that makes sense. The benefit is either the benefit of the addiction, is that they're getting a benefit quickly, which is to whatever these things are, that they feel that it's basically making these basically achievement, breaks, connection, discovery. These are the benefits of the addiction. But they're short term. They don't last. They still need methods within their day to have their breaks, to have their achievements, to have their connection, to have their discovery through ways that basically don't destroy these things. If that makes sense? So what happens is like when there's the benefit in the addiction, that's a downward spiral. They have to pay that back later through health, through money, through destroying all of these. It does destroy these. There is the downside of the addiction. Then the correct behaviour together with the benefits of the correct behaviour. The benefits aren't just like, say, long-term that they're cured, and that's what the C is for the cure, but the benefits are, do they have a plan for how they're going to get through the day without these, without cigarettes to get through, without cocaine to achieve as a performance enhancer? Do they have, like the cure again, for the short term, do they have a strategy for breaks without cigarettes? Do they have a strategy for connection without alcohol? Do they have a strategy for discovery without ice, cocaine, or heroin, or mushrooms? Do they have that? The cure is not just in the long term they're going to be better. The cure is that in the short term, they've got strategies to provide themselves with what they need. If that makes sense? So then finally, once you've described this map to them, it's easy to show this, basically, when I was saying the partner's always biased. The partner is not an expert. The partner's their partner. Their wife, their whoever it is, their husband, whoever it is. The partner is not an expert. The partner can't help them unless they actually are an expert. The partner can't help them get through this. You can, you're the therapist. So you can say to them, they love you, that's why they're helping you. And they're always biased, which means that anything you tell them, they're just going to kind of agree with you. So thanks so much for being part of this on week 1. Tune in for week 2. We're going to show you the myths and 3 more of these childish behaviours. The agree, the lesson, and the moral. Thanks so much for watching. I love this stuff, and I love the fact I'm honoured that you're doing this with me. Scott Lawrence from Lawrence Hypnotherapy. Until next time, make sure you're taking notes, make sure you're being brave around this, and make sure that you're basically having a go. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.